As a male, I help out both men and women because it's the right thing to do. When men tell me about their abuse, I speak up same as I speak up for women. One of the plagues that we have here in America is that our most potent and powerful group of individuals within this country, as far as voting goes, are parents. When it comes to protecting our children, parents have the upper hand. But, and here's a big but, parents being such a large part of our voter population, they are also the easiest to control. Children. That's right. If they want to be cowards, they have a built-in excuse. Oh, children, and magically it's all okay. Depending, right? If somebody, well, Epstein, for example. Let's say Epstein had kids. Oh, you can't do that. I have kids. I have kids. Imagine if they had let him get away with that because he had kids. This happens often with women, even women pedophiles. Female pedophiles serve on average 8 months. 8 months. Brenda Griffith, she was an educator and in child care. And she molested one of my male friends. 8 months is what she served. She served exactly the average. Jerry Sparks was so pissed. 8 months. And they let her go back to the same town, Alliance, Nebraska. So then Miss Jerry has to worry about her son still having to see that woman. Imagine what it's like for me. A lot of my predators, I don't know. Many people are just insulted by the fact that I exist. I'll feed men, same as women. Sometimes people need more help than that. But, and this is another big but, out here on the streets, everybody's pretty much every man for himself. That's where it's at for poor people in this country. Unfortunately, that's the downfall of the poor, same as it's the downfall of parents. When you're a single mom, you go, you know what, I need help. I'm a single mom. And people are expected to jump at that. And if they don't, you get to tell everyone how horrible they are. Well, I do that too now, don't I? You tell them that they chose it, that they chose for their boss to not pay them enough, or their friends who promised to show up to not do so. Kind of like the analogy I say about the special diabetes shoes. You need these special shoes. If you can't get these special shoes within the next 2 weeks, they're going to have to amputate your feet. Nothing you can do about it. Insurance won't cover it. You don't have the money, and they're like $200 shoes. But you got a friend who says he's going to do that for you, or she. So you got these expensive ass cancer shoes or diabetes shoes that are supposed to help get rid of ulcers and prevent your feet from starting to rot and all this. Now, those of you who are doctors and nurses, you're like, this is a stupid analogy. You're right, but it's the best I could come up with. And you guys probably know what shoes I'm talking about, and that if you get them in the next 2 weeks, that's not going to make any difference once you get to that point. But the point remains. If you don't get the shoes in the next 2 weeks, then there are consequences. You might have had a bacteria that affected parts of your body. You only got that bacteria because somebody couldn't keep their nasty hands off you, and now you got complications. But it doesn't matter, no matter what it is. We don't have to set it up for every single person to understand. It's an analogy, and it is a good one. This is what is needed to save your feet so that you can walk, so that you don't get them amputated. And nearly all of us know people who have had a limb amputated due to diabetes and complications with diabetes. So it's not a far stretch. So you've got these shoes, right? And this person that's a friend of yours needs these shoes within the next 2 weeks, or they're not going to have any feet anymore. But you tell them you'll get them the shoes tomorrow, right? And tomorrow comes, and it gets pretty late, and they message you and ask you, do you know what time you're going to get here? And you let them know, oh, I'll be there around 3:30, right? So they don't show up at 3:30. Come about 7 o'clock at night, they tell you, oh, something came up. And it's too late to go anywhere now, but we'll do it first thing in the morning. I'll call you first thing in the morning. Well, they don't call you first thing in the morning. You figure, well, first thing in the morning for some people is like 6 o'clock. But I'll wait. If it gets much past 9:30, then I'll call. So I call around 9:30, no answer. 3 days later, still no answer. I'm like, hey man, I'm really scared of getting my feet amputated and how much of a difference this is going to make for my life. I really need promise to get him for me. He said, hey man, you ever need anything, let me know. Well, I'm letting you know. You know what, dude? You just need to be patient, all right? You just need to be patient, okay? Just be patient. You don't have to get an attitude with me. I heard you the first time. All right. All right, fine. Well, then, of course, the weekend shows up, and I'm supposed to just be patient because you can't go to the special store to buy the special shoes because it's not open on the weekends. You got to wait till Monday. Well, Monday doesn't call. Tuesday doesn't call. Nothing with the shoes. Wednesday. Pretty soon, it's coming up to, you've got 3 days until you have to have those shoes or the doctor's going to cut off your feet. And you call him up the first day and he treats you completely like fucking shit. Like you're the worst person in the world because in this 2 weeks, when this person has promised you that they'll help, that they're gonna do it. Don't worry about it, dude. I'll take care of it. You don't need to go to 1,000 other people to try to fucking ask for help, dude. Fucking, you don't have to waste your time with all that. I got it covered. Well, you didn't have it covered, did you? Then that person, of course, you throw a tantrum at them, and now they're literally feeling like the crummiest person in the world. You have treated them completely like shit because you didn't keep your word, because you blew them off, because you ignored them, because you just let it happen. Then 6 months later, you blocked them on Facebook right before they got their fucking feet amputated and went, fuck you, I don't have to do anything. 6 months later, you show up with these special shoes. Your friend's in a fucking wheelchair. They don't have any fucking feet. And you show up with these shoes, and you go, oh, dude, why are you getting a fucking attitude with me? Come on, put the shoes on. I want to take a picture. I want to show all of my friends the help that I gave you. We're too fucking late, dumbass. Too late by 6 fucking months. When people want to tell me, hey, you know what, we're not going to help you out. You chose not to go and get those diabetic shoes. So it's your fault that this happened. Your fault that your feet were amputated. You don't get no help. You chose this. You should have had better friends. If you're going to say your friends fucking bullshit you and led you on and you fucking didn't try to understand the repercussions. There's always some excuse, right? So that person who's got no feet, now all of a sudden they're an ungrateful asshole because you did what they wanted. You did what they wanted. Hey, remember when I wrote that thing for you? You mean 2 years after the fact because you just didn't give a shit? You were the kind of friend who didn't acknowledge my existence? Well, yeah, I remember that. I certainly remember that. I also remember that now you're throwing it in my face that you did something for me well after it was far too late. You said, I'll do it tomorrow. And then 2 years later, you still hadn't done it. 3 years after that, you want to throw it in my face. When anybody is victimized, but especially an at risk individual, be they child or adult, being able to go to a friend or family member who cares and understands and turn it in immediately is important. When I was being gang stalked by Natalie and her friends before she was killed, I went to my friends, and I had to go to a lot of my friends because most of them are sexist. Most of them, if it's a man who needs help, he's just supposed to ignore it no matter what kind of abuse it is. Y'all don't stop to understand how many resources that he has to expend. And these are his own resources. This isn't oh, I'm a poor girl. I need the money to fucking rent the thing and I need the men to move it for me. No, I got to fucking pay men to do that. Thank goodness Mr. Scudder helped me and he didn't charge me anything. But Brandon Ratner, when he helped me move, he got $200 a pop for doing that. I did not expect him to do it for free. And a lot of women who ask me for help, they do expect me to help them for free. And we as men are supposed to take that into account. And we're also expected to, in many cases, drop our entire lives for every single woman who has a fucking sob story. And we don't have the resources. Why is that okay? My car's gonna die if I don't find my keys. There they are. Make sure it starts. Yup, it does. I got, what is it, 13 days, 15 days? Who cares? It's a few days till the end of the month. I got a half tank of gas and I got like $15 in my pocket. So I'm pretty well stuck with whatever I got in my vehicle right now. And that $15 gotta be reserved for emergencies. Is my half tank of gas gonna last till the end of the month? Probably not. So that'll probably be the emergency it goes to. If somebody wants my help between now and then, well, I'm not a rich man driving a friggin' Maserati, you know. Alright, it definitely runs. We're good to go. I'm gonna plug in my spare battery and charge it up while I'm out walking. It hurts to walk, but I have to, otherwise everything gets all stiff and won't work. The thing is, because I'm a homeless disabled man, and I don't have a place of my own, anybody can hurt me at any point in time. Pretend like I must be guilty because of bias, and I never get a word in. When I try to turn in my predators, even though I tried to turn in my predators first, I tried to go to my friends and family because these people were harming me, and my friends and family blew me off. Later on, they promised to help, and I knew they weren't gonna because Before Hadley died, yeah, they blew me off. They promised me if I came over and did this and came over and did that, and I wanted to believe them. But how many times are they going to make a promise and not keep their word before I go, you know what, fuck it. You're dishonest, and I am under no obligation to keep my end of the bargain any longer. Many of these people, it was after I was out of resources that they were like, all right, well, I'm done. Like, really? I spent all my money doing what it is that you needed me to do so you could help me. And then I did all that stuff. I'm out of money now, and now you're treating me like I'm a bad person for even coming to you for help. Many of these environments, people were yelling and screaming. And here's the thing about that dominant male asshole that you want to bitch about so much. When Tabitha Michelle Cook had one of those assholes in her house, he was also already supposed to not be anywhere near her or the kids. Just like with Rose M. Kelly and the men that she chose to be around her daughters. God, that's a completely different rat's nest I don't even want to get into right now. But that's where all this stems from. I mean, a man's assumed to be guilty anyway, and although a disabled person has rights, you just call him mentally ill and say he's a man, and boom, it all goes away. One word. You change one word. You change the word torture into pain compliance, and it's magically okay. You change the word disabled into mentally ill, and it's magically okay. You change the word victim into man, and magically it's okay. Very good. Well, maybe not very good, but you're pleasant, so. I do like pleasant people. Oh, man. 5/19/2000. Oh, my God. Somebody's flag fell off their truck. It's a commemoration flag for somebody who fell. And it's too bad I don't know who dropped it, because this is the kind of stuff that, much as I don't agree with soldiers, I do fight for veterans. I may not agree with what they fight for, but I do understand what they believe they're fighting for. And I don't hate them as individuals, I just want them home. I don't want to ruin it. 10/11/2021, so September 11th, 2021, 5/19/2004. So Josiah, Czebotar. Suppose. I'll set it on the bench here, maybe they'll see it. It's more respectful than it being on the ground. A lot of people tried to pretend I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And then I show them I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then they get treated like I'm a bad person for showing them that I know what I'm talking about. And it all revolves around, hey, it's men's fault, men's fault, men's fault. Men made these laws. Which men? And what laws? We do have some wonderful laws. That's my personal opinion. There are some wonderful laws. The thing that's not wonderful about them is that they're not, in reality, they're not put into action. There's no teeth to them, so to speak. That's the problem with a protection order. I'm gonna get away from this area because somebody's got their stuff there. You have no idea how difficult it is to try to keep your sanity in conditions like this, where your physical disabilities, people pretend they don't exist. Your mental issues that come from abuse, people just pretend like they don't exist. You're a man, you could never have been abused. This is what leads to male suicide. Natalie Marie Bollinger had to cut herself up one side and down the other to try to get hurt, and it still wasn't enough. And that was before I ever met her. Boys and men are more likely to commit suicide. A lot more likely. They're more likely to harm themselves in front of others. Although there's different forms of self-abuse. Oh my God. Like, Janine Barrett had it in her head that punching herself in the face when she did something stupid, like that's not healthy. Obviously. I want to watch it more than that because it hurts. Men are far less likely to make false accusations than women. 90% of false accusations do come from women. The problem is that those false accusations prevent people who really have been harmed from being taken seriously. When you're actually abused and you got to go to the cops by yourself and you're treated like trash and it's assumed you're guilty, it's because there are so many women out there that do that. There are so many slanderous things on the internet, specifically from women towards men, trying to play on a bias that will get them harmed or killed. Trying to tell people that your baby's daddy is into little boys, or wears girls' panties, or things like that he's gay. One woman, she tried to pretend like she was totally down for the LGBT community. But when her boyfriend left her, she couldn't handle it. And then she wanted to use the term gay derogatorily to try to get people to harm him. Oh, he's gay. He touches little boys and he wears girls' underwear. And I'm like, oh my God. 2 weeks later, she was whining and crying and, oh, I can't imagine life without him. I'm like, holy shit. Really? After everything that you said about him, you're going to do that? Why is it you think that we should just forgive and forget? Really? You gonna have us forgive and forget that? Not ever. That is never something to forgive or forget. That gets innocent people killed. And the fact that women are doing it so frequently now and bragging about it and still getting away with it, that's phenomenal. It's also horrible and terrifying.